Morning, good morning. Welcome in. Move that over just a little bit. I hope everybody is having a great morning. Oh, let me put some stuff over here like I'm supposed to. Give me just a second. And let's do it from. I hope everybody had an amazing Fat Tuesday yesterday. I hope you had a great Mardi Gras season. And as we transition into a time of reflection, I hope that you all really take the time and use it as it's meant to be used. Okay. So many times we're just moving, moving, moving. And as we finish carnival season, we realize that, this is a time when we can really reflect upon ourselves, make some intentions, and move forward. That light is still in the way. Okay, let's see. Is that better? That light out of the way. All right, let's try that. Okay, well, today is February the 18th. It is Ash Wednesday. So, a day of definitely reflecting, sacrificing, from my point of view, anyway. This is not everyone's belief, but this is a very spiritual point of view for me. So, I take it from the standpoint of a day of reflection, a day of sacrifice, and a journey of cleansing. Okay. So the meditation for today is prepare for the storm. Prepare for the storm. Daily Stoic. We read a reading from the Daily Stoic every morning, and every month has a focus. January's focus was on clarity. And February's focus is on passions and emotions. So we've, kind of talked about how to gain clarity, how to really look and chart our course from our perspective versus the exterior, the outside looking in, and how to control our emotions and our compulsions versus them controlling us. So prepare for the storm is the title. This is a quote by Epictetus. It reads, "This is the true athlete, the person in rigorous training against false impressions. Remain firm, you who suffer. Don't be kidnapped by your impressions. The struggle is great, the task divine, to gain mastery, freedom, happiness, and tranquility." Hey, Urge, good morning, friend. This is an amazing quote. I'm going to read that again. This is the true athlete, the person in rigorous training against false impressions, against your mind. You're only in competition with yourself. Remain firm, you who suffer. Don't be kidnapped by your impressions. The struggle is great, the task divine, to gain mastery, freedom, happiness, and tranquility. And the reflection reads, Epictetus also used the metaphor of a storm, saying that our impressions are not unlike extreme weather that can catch us and whirl us about. When we get worked up or passionate about an issue, we can relate. But let's think about the role of the weather in modern times. Today, we have forecasters and experts who can fairly, accurately, we'll see, predict storm patterns. Today, we're defenseless against a hurricane only if we refuse to prepare or heed the warnings. Oh, I love that. Today, we're defenseless against a hurricane only if we refuse to prepare or heed the warnings. If we don't have a plan, if we never learned how to put up the storm windows, we will all be at the mercy of those external and internal elements. We're still puny human beings compared with 100-mile-per-hour winds, but we have the advantage of being able to prepare, being able to struggle against them in a new way. Ooh, that's kind of That kind of hit. That kind of hit. Let's think about the role of weather in modern times. Today, we have forecasters and experts who can fairly accurately predict storm patterns. Today, we're defenseless against a hurricane only if we refuse to prepare and heed the warnings. So, to me, this speaks volumes because as I talked about in the beginning, I'm observing Ash Wednesday today, and it's a time of reflection, a time of preparing for a journey of sacrifice. It is a time of centering for me. And this is so meaningful today because it just seems like the timing is perfect. Hey, faithfully created, how are you this morning, friend? It seems like the timing is just absolutely perfect. When we're facing storms in our lives and when we really start focusing on us internally and our habits and our emotions and our reactions, we understand and we can predict the storm that's coming. I love the analogy that he used about us in current times and modern times versus before when we didn't. We were defenseless if a storm was coming. And now, because meteorologists are able to predict certain weather patterns. They may not get it right all the time, but in general, they get it pretty close to the accuracy of what's happening. That's kind of like us in our lives. We know the things that we need to work on. We know our traits and our deficits. We understand our strengths. Is there a way to turn our deficit into a strength and therefore prepare for the storm ahead? Is there a way to approach certain types of thoughts and certain types of fears so that we know how to decrease any anxiety they may cause? The point of this, as I'm reading it, is we have the control. We have within us, anyway, the ability to control some of the storms that are coming in our lives. Now, let's be real. There are just some storms we don't see. There are some storms that we don't see, and there's very little that we can do about those, about them coming towards us. We just have to work towards how we react to them. Many times we sit and we reflect. I always talk about me. So I know I can say for me, when there's something that seems overwhelming to me, I have to break it down into very small pieces and just take one step at a time, one step at a time, and break the big goal down into very small chunks so I can feel like I've achieved something, check something off, and continue to check something off. And eventually I'll get there. But that also helps me control any anxiety that I may have because I understand what's next. I understand what's next. I was talking to a colleague yesterday, and we were talking about the book Grit by Angela Duckworth. And we were talking about a TED talk that Steve Sninek and Angela Duckworth did together. And she was talking about grit and what people typically think of when they think about grit. They think about the willpower to just persevere or the willpower to do without. And that's not necessarily what grit is. There are four factors of grit. I can't remember, and I'll come back tomorrow and tell you exactly what the four are, but there are four factors of grit. The first three have to do with engagement. The fourth one has to do with execution. First three have to deal with engagement, and the fourth has to do with execution. And the reason that I even brought that up, and I'll bring the bullet points tomorrow. They're downstairs in my office, but I'll bring them tomorrow. Good morning, Wincheryl. How are you, my new friend? Good morning. Um, but when we talk about grit, we think about the three factors of engagement, but that fourth factor is execution. Remember, hey there. Remember that anything and everything that we do, we have to think about what we're going to do about it, what the action step is going to be. Faithfully Created said interest, practices, purpose, and hope. Interest, practices, purpose, and hope. And I want to focus on the practices part of that because that to me is the execution. It's the action plan, it's the action step of what we're doing about all of the other things. Because when we think about grit, it almost puts us, when I think about it almost putting us in the position of being a martyr, if you will, because you're sustaining something that's happening to you. And from what I understood, her kind of theory to be behind grit, it's not how you react to necessarily something that happens to you, but what you do to move it forward, because you have your plan, you have your action step, and the grit is taking the next step. No matter what happens previously, you take the next step. It's not like it's continued abuse of some sort. It's not like you're fighting against, I guess in a way you could be fighting against an emotion that's coming towards you, but you're always moving. You're always taking the next step. You're not laying down. You're continuing to push forward no matter what. I also read a very interesting quote the other day by Muhammad Ali to that effect, too. So, I mean, life is a fight. We can either have a TKO or we can get up for the next round. It's as simple as that. There's always a storm that's brewing somewhere, somehow. There's an old saying that says you've either just come out of the storm, you're either in the storm, or you're going into the storm. We cycle that pattern. We've either just come out, we're going into, or we're in the storm. Okay. And as my mama always said, if that's not what you've experienced, just keep living. Just keep living. It's the cycle of life. Good morning. Welcome in. It is absolutely the cycle of life. So, friends, I want to encourage everybody today to um, just remember, just take that action. That's what we're talking about consistently this month as we focus on passions and emotions. Just take the action. Take the action. Reflect, be true to yourself, reflect, embrace your feelings, understand your feelings, and decide what you're going to do about the actions. All right, we're going to leave with our little quote of the day. There's our little quote card, and it reads, don't live down to expectations. Go out there and do something remarkable. Don't live down to expectations. Go out there and do something remarkable. And that's a quote by Wasserstein. Wendy Wasserstein. Friends, thank you so much for joining me this morning. My son is just texting. So who gave up what for Lent? He's on it this morning. Thank you, Urge. So I hope each of you have a great day. Have a wonderful week. If I don't see you again this week, I will be on. But if I miss you in the morning, you can always catch me on YouTube under Catches by Cathy. Thank you, Faithfully Created. But yes, again, if you are participating in Lent and celebrating Lent, today is our day of reflection. Today is our day to prepare for our true journey of sacrifice. And I'm going to take the opportunity today to really look at what I want my life to look like. And I can't even remember the date of Easter right now, but whatever the date of Easter or Good Friday is, I'm going to make a plan today. I'm going to reflect and take some quiet time and make a plan for what I want my life to look like, what I want to have achieved, those action steps that I want to have taken, and those results charted come Good Friday, which is the end of our Lenten season. Actually, officially is Holy Thursday, but anyway, we won't get into all of that. After the sacrificial journey, I want to make sure that I have done the things that I wanted to do on this journey. So, love each of you. Thank you so much for joining. Mwah, mwah, as I always like to say. And it's four of us. Let's find somebody to raid, okay? You all have a great day. I'll see you all a little later. All right, let's see who is on. Who is on? Mm, let's go into multi estate fines. We'll join them. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. Drop elephants in the chat when you get there. We love some elephants. All right, now. Bye, y'all. Have a great day.